Hey, this is John Kevill from Warbringer, and today we're coming at you with a track-by-track overview of the upcoming Warbringer record, Woe to the Vanquished, out March 31st on Napalm Records. So track 1 on the record, which you guys have already heard, is called Silhouettes, and this was the oldest song idea for the record, and a lot of why we chose to open the record with it. Musically, I wanted this one, and the goal was to have it just hit you like a bomb, and to have the structure be a little hollow in places and have it kind of jump around, and I wanted the beat to be unique and just to have it be a unique take on what I would call extreme thrash. And I think the song succeeds in this, and lyrically there's a spine-chilling concept to go with it, which is basically, in short, if an atomic bomb hits you, all that will be left of you is your shadow where you once stood. And this is just horrifying to me, and I thought it was a great concept for a metal song, and it's sadly a reality we all live in. Track 2 on the record is the title track, Woe to the Vanquished, and this title comes from ancient Roman history. What it means and what the meaning of the song is to me is that the strong will trample the weak, and this is the fundamental tragedy of time. So this theme applies throughout the record, and that's why it was chosen as the title track. Musically, this song is merciless, and we really went into death thrash territory on this one with a lot of blast beats and tremolo picking, especially in the second half of the song. And structurally, it follows a kind of song within a song format that keeps changing, and by the end resolves in a huge, massive chant, but for the most part, it's just blazing fast. So this one's a real burner, and we hope you guys dig it. Track 3, Remain Violent, is uniquely on the record set in the present day, and it's pretty obvious what we're talking about here. Police brutality in the United States, and the police force as an arm to suppress the people rather than to protect them. So musically, this one's just supposed to be hard as a brick, and we got one of the toughest riffs we've ever wrote as the centerpiece of the song. And it's a real fist-raising, shouting along anthem of a thrash song, and we think it's gonna kick some ass live. Track 4 on the record is Shellfire, and this song is a son of a bitch because we have deliberately on this song chosen to push the sheer tempo we are playing at beyond where it's ever been before. So Shellfire, we literally made sure it was the fastest song in our discography, and it is. And so musically, it's just merciless. This one was written on guitar and drums alike by Carlos Cruz with lyrics by myself. So to match this hyper-speed, brutal thrashing track and all the riffs that Carlos came at me with, I went to one of my favorite subjects, the man-made industrial warfare hell of the Western Front, World War I, and the sense of just how many cannons they would be firing at once and how non-stop it was, and the sensory damage that comes from it. And it comes with a lot of bitterness and sadness and anger that I feel when I read about these subjects and channel it through this lightning-fast and aggressive track. So starting off side B is track 5, Descending Blade. And unlike a lot of the other songs, this isn't about something necessarily real life. It's sort of my own fantasy story about a modern / futuristic sniper. And the music, rather than a lot of the earlier half of the album, which is more of the death thrash variety, this is some straight old school thrash. And it gives it a different vibe, and it fits the more like action movie-esque content of the lyrics, but the lyrics have a story too, and there's a twist which is reflected in the music, which gets a lot faster towards the end, where the killer, while sighting his target, at the end the point of view changes, and it's his last seconds before the bullet of the counter sniper who had sighted him hits his brain, and the song ends abruptly where everything goes black. Which leads us into track 6, Spectral Asylum. Spectral Asylum is not even bound by this world, and I like how it continues after Descending Blade as if this is then what happens to the guy. And it's simply dark fantasy about the idea of being trapped in a realm of blackness, a prison of the mind, if you will, and confronted by the gnawing fears of your own irrational and paranoid thoughts. And we really did a lot of vocal layering on this song and wanted to make it sonically really eerie and creepy, and it has some influence from some black metal type stuff as well as some technical thrash influence from bands such as Coroner that parts are also comparable to. So it's a really unique and kind of cool song, and I think it develops on previous tracks that Warbringer's done, such as Demonic Ecstasy and Leviathan. Track 7 is Divinity of Flesh, and this was really an Adam Carroll composition through and through, and including the lyrical concept comes from him as well. And the music is kind of cool. Adam has always had a real European flair to some of his riffs, and it comes across in a combination to me of something like Dissection and some early 90s Gothenburg style stuff. So the riffing style is a mixture of that and maybe some early Death and thrash material. So it's cool, it's a fast song, and lyrically it's the most positive one on the record, because what it's saying is a kind of scientific humanitarian philosophy that I and many members of the band deeply believe, which is that humanity is over time creating a greater destiny for itself, and we're all part of it, and that the power to our frail mortal bodies is that our ideas and our words get to live on past our deaths. And I feel a personal attachment to this song because as I write these lyrics on it, I am literally recording something that will be around after I'm dead. So, and you can watch this after I'm dead too, Divinity of Flesh. And finally, track 8 on the record is the biggest, most ambitious Warbringer song to date by far. We have the freaking 11-minute epic When the Guns Fell Silent. Now musically, lyrically, conceptually, this is something totally new for us, and it's a real monolithic capstone to this record that really ties it all together in my view. And subject-wise, it's about the end of the First World War, which is a time of spiritual and emotional desolation. And more than talking about dates, names, places, I want to capture what I feel when I read this story, and I want the listener to experience it too. So the song's a real journey, and it's epic, it's sad, it's crushing, it's many things at once. And I draw upon a lot of old literature. It starts with the narration and sound, and in the scope of this track, it's just truly bigger than anything we've done before. For musical inspiration, we were looking a few different directions, but two of the key ones were Bathory, Bloodfire, Death era, specifically the epic songs on there, as well as Metallica and Justice for All tracks like the title track and To Live Is To Die. We wanted that sense of a monolithic song that really left your jaw hanging open when it finishes, and that's really what I think we've achieved here, and I think it's one of the best songs we've ever written. I really can't wait to see what the reaction is to that and the entire record. Heavy metal isn't just some bullshit, it's a real valid art form, and that's what we're trying to advance now in the 21st century, is to show how vital and valid and relevant this form of music is. Remain silent!